The distress beacon had been pinging for 3 hours before Juno Hale's salvage vessel picked it up. She adjusted course toward the derelict station floating in the Kepler belt, expecting the usual haul-abandoned equipment, maybe some rare metals, perhaps a few data cores worth selling to collectors. What she didn't expect was the sound. A muffled wailing, high-pitched and distinctly young. Juno cycled through the airlock of the abandoned research station, her boots clanging against metal floors that hadn't felt footsteps in months. The wailing grew louder, accompanied by what could only be described as frantic chittering. She followed the noise through corridors lined with broken terminals and scattered datapads until she reached what appeared to be a storage room. There, in the center of the floor, was the most absurd sight Juno had witnessed in 15 years of space salvage. 3 alien cubs no taller than her knee were stuck together in a triangle formation, bound by what looked like an entire roll of industrial adhesive tape. The tape wrapped around their torsos, limbs, and even their small snouts. They struggled and squeaked, managing only to tighten their predicament with each movement. "By the void," Juno whispered, approaching slowly. The cubs froze. 6 eyes, 2 per cub, stared at her with a mixture of terror and desperate hope. They were Vocari young, she realized. The species was known for their cautious nature and exceptional problem-solving skills as adults. These 3, however, had apparently not yet developed those particular talents. One cub, slightly larger than the others with distinctive rust-colored fur, began chittering rapidly. Juno's translator struggled for a moment before rendering the speech into something coherent. "Please don't eat us. We didn't mean to activate the beacon." Rock said the shiny roll was a toy. Juno knelt down, hands raised in what she hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "Easy there. I'm not going to eat anyone. What happened here?" The rust-colored cub, Rock, apparently lowered his head in shame. "I found the roll in a supply crate. It was so shiny and made funny sounds when I pulled it. I wrapped some around my paw to see if I could swing from the ceiling like the maintenance drones do. And then?" Juno prompted gently. Another cub, this one with silver-tipped ears, chimed in. "Then Rack got his paw stuck to the floor. I tried to help pull him free, but the tape stuck to my fur. Then Kessa tried to help both of us and now we're a perfect triangle of failure." The third cub, Kessa, presumably finished miserably. Juno bit back a laugh. The situation was undeniably ridiculous. But these were children. Alone and frightened on an abandoned station. "How long have you been stuck like this?" "2 cycles, Rock admitted. "We managed to hit the distress beacon with our tails before we got completely tangled. 2 days. These cubs had been trapped for 2 days. And judging by the empty nutrition packets scattered nearby, they'd been stranded even longer than that." Juno's chest tightened. "Where were their parents? Their pack? All right, hold still. I'm going to cut you free." She pulled a vibro knife from her belt. All 3 cubs immediately began struggling harder, their triangle formation spinning awkwardly across the floor. "No cutting. No cutting!" they shrieked in unison. Juno paused. "Why not?" "I'll be careful. Vocari fur takes seasons to grow back," Kessa wailed. "We'll be bald. The pack will laugh at us forever. We'd rather stay taped together," Rock added solemnly. Juno stared at them. They were serious. She looked at the tape, industrial grade, designed to seal hull breaches. It wasn't coming off without taking some fur with it. But there had to be another way. "What about solvent?" she asked. "I have universal adhesive remover on my ship." The cubs' ears perked up simultaneously, their triangle formation tilting with renewed hope. "That would work?" Rack asked. "If I can get you all back to my ship without you 3 rolling into a wall?" "Yes." The journey back through the station was an exercise in patience. The cubs, still stuck in their triangular prison, had to move in perfect synchronization or risk toppling over. Juno ended up carrying them, one arm supporting their collective weight, while they clung to each other and chittered nervously. "Why were you alone on this station?" Juno asked as they approached her ship. The cubs fell silent for a moment. Then Kessa spoke, her voice small. "Our transport ship had an emergency. They put us in the station's safe room and said they'd come back. That was many cycles ago. Juno's jaw tightened. An evacuation. The station must have been caught in some disaster, and in the chaos, these cubs had been left behind. The thought made her blood boil, but she kept her voice calm. Well, you're safe now. Let's get this tape off you. Inside her ship's medical bay, Juno carefully applied the solvent to each strand of tape. The cubs remained remarkably still, having learned their lesson about struggling. As the adhesive dissolved, their prison gradually fell away. There, Juno said, peeling off the last piece. You're free. The 3 cubs immediately scrambled apart, checking themselves for missing patches of fur. Finding everything intact, they erupted in joyful chittering, bouncing around the medical bay with boundless energy. Rock suddenly stopped and approached Juno, his small head bowed. Thank you, human Juno Hale. We are in your debt. The pack honors debts. No debt necessary, Juno replied, though she was touched by the formal tone from such a young creature. But I do need to know, where should I take you? Where's your pack? The cubs exchanged glances. Kessa spoke up. We don't know. The coordinates were lost when the emergency happened. Juno sighed. Of course it wouldn't be simple. She pulled up her star charts. All right then. We'll start by searching the navigation logs from the station. And while we do that, you 3 are going to tell me the whole story. Every detail, starting with why you thought playing with industrial tape was a good idea. Rock's ears drooped. In our defense, we didn't know it was industrial tape. We thought it was decoration tape. Decoration tape? For birthday celebrations, all 3 cubs said together. Despite everything, the abandoned station, the days of searching ahead, the responsibility of 3 alien children now in her care, Juno laughed. It was a genuine, full-bellied laugh that echoed through the ship. Well, she said, ruffling Rock's rust-colored fur, at least you 3 know how to work together. Even if it takes being literally stuck in a triangle to figure it out. The cubs looked at each other and, despite their ordeal, chirped with what Juno could only interpret as laughter. As her ship broke away from the derelict station and set course into the black, Juno realized her salvage run had yielded something far more valuable than scrap metal or data cores. She'd found 3 cubs who'd survived against the odds, bound together by misadventure and adhesive tape. And somehow, that felt like the most human thing in the galaxy, finding hope and humor even in the stickiest of situations.